Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving straight into one of the most fascinating, system-driven transformations in modern sports history. We're talking about the Royal Challengers Bengaluru and their unbelievable 2026 season. If you thought you knew exactly how this franchise played cricket, well, the data suggests you might need to completely rethink that. So here is the massive question hanging over the upcoming playoffs. Can they actually do the unthinkable? Defending a title is notoriously one of the hardest feats in franchise cricket. It's incredibly rare. But as we look at the raw data and the performances from this season, you realize RCB isn't just trying to survive these playoffs. No, they are looking to cement a full-blown modern dynasty. To really understand the gravity of this moment, we have to look back at the history. 18 years. Let that sink in for a second. 18 long years. That is exactly how long fans had to wait, suffering through all those explosive but ultimately flawed rosters before RCB finally secured their maiden title in 2025. That old burden? It's totally gone now, but it's been replaced by a completely new one, the intense pressure of being the defending champions. Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1. A new era of dominance. To see how they're handling this new pressure, we have to look at how they've completely flipped the script. For basically 2 decades, there was this one massive stereotype haunting them. Sure, great batting, but can they actually bowl? You know the drill. They were the entertainers, the team of flashy superstars who could easily smash 200 runs, but then completely fail to defend 210. Well, you can take that decades-old narrative and just throw it right out the window. This season, they haven't just answered that question, they have completely dismantled the stereotype. Just check out this number, a net run rate of plus 1.919. That staggering, league-high figure definitively proves that their brand-new defense-first strategy isn't just working, it is literally suffocating their opponents. They aren't just edging out close wins anymore, they are winning with absolute ruthless precision. To put that dominance into perspective, just look at what happened recently against the Delhi Capitals. They utterly dismantled them, bundling Delhi out for a mere 75 runs. And the run chase finished in a blazing 6.3 overs. It was just an absolute statement. The transformation is so profound that, for maybe the first time in history, the Chinnaswamy crowd is actually cheering louder for a dot ball than a boundary. Which brings us to Section 2, Virat Kohli's radical reinvention. You literally cannot talk about this new system without talking about the key individual who unlocked it. It's basically a tale of 2 Virat Kohlis. For years, we knew the blueprint, the patient anchor who builds his innings methodically and then accelerates late. But now, we have the 2026 aggressor. At 37 years old, Kohli did something. Actually, scratch that, it wasn't just something. It was absolutely extraordinary. He deliberately tore up his own legendary template. He spent the preseason remodeling his trigger movements, totally abandoned the anchor role, and started striking it over 160 from ball 1, forcing bowlers completely off their lengths. And that brings us to this really fascinating microcosm of the season, the whole Rocco dynamic. The parallel journeys of 2 absolute legends, Kohli and Rohit Sharma in 2026. Both of these guys courageously embraced a high-risk, zero-anchoring strategy this year. But as the numbers show, Kohli definitively won the statistical battle. While Rohit was unfortunately hampered by injuries, managing a respectable 283 runs, Kohli's aggressive new approach yielded over 550 runs. Staggeringly, 48% of the entire team's runs were scored while Kohli was out there at the crease. He's absorbing all the pressure up front, which allows the guys around him to just swing freely. Now, what's really interesting about this next part is Section 3, the ultimate bowling revolution. Because yes, the batting is unbelievable, but it's their clinical pace attack that has turned them into this all-weather, fearsome unit. The roles here are perfectly, rigidly defined. The veteran duo of Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and Josh Hazlewood, they've become the absolute power play kings. Bhuvi swings the ball and sums up the conditions in over number 1, while Hazlewood relentlessly hits those hard lengths. In the middle overs, you've got Krunal Pandya acting as the restrictive anchor, and at the death, a massive domestic discovery, 26-year-old Rasikh Salam. He's in there nailing wide Yorkers and slower balls, finally giving RCB that finishing bowling kick they desperately lacked for years. The whole vibe of this bowling unit is perfectly summed up by Josh Hazlewood's own words right here. Notice he doesn't rely on flashy mystery deliveries. It's all about heavy balls, 3/4 lengths, and sheer, uncompromising accuracy. Take his brilliant spell against the Lucknow Supergiants, for instance. He walked away with 1 wicket for just 20 runs off his 4 overs and pitched an astounding 23 deliveries on his specialized length, just completely cramping the batters. It's blue-collar, it's disciplined, and it's ruthlessly effective.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, systemic depth over superstars.
This discipline bowling is really just one half of a much larger philosophy shift for the whole franchise. For years, RCB had this huge identity crisis, right? They just throw together a star-heavy squad and hope for the best. But now, every single player has a rigidly defined role. Phil Salt is up top to completely demoralize bowlers in the power play. Rajat Patidar handles the spin mastery in the middle overs, and then you have Tim David and Jitesh Sharma providing explosive finishing power at the end. Because the top 5 are striking above 160 and the finishers are consistently giving them 70 to 90 runs in the final 5 overs, this team simply does not panic during a collapse. They trust the system.
But every great system needs an X factor, a variable that completely shifts the outcome. And for RCB, that is unequivocally Captain Rajat Patidar. Keeping him as captain was an absolute masterstroke by the management. He provides this incredibly calm, stable demeanor that prevents those chaotic mid-season identity crises we used to see. He's a spin-playing maestro, anchoring the middle, which entirely empowers all those big hitters to just explode around him. And this brilliantly illustrates Section 5, the data-driven title race.
Okay, so we've seen the eye test, we know they look dominant, but what do the actual mathematical models say about their chances in the playoffs? Well, according to the WPA Impact Index, this might actually shock some of you. Despite all of RCB's momentum, the algorithm actually favors the Gujarat Titans at 36%, with Sunrisers next and RCB sitting in third at 24%. Why? Well, in high-stakes T20 knockout cricket, bowling wins tournaments, and Gujarat has claimed an unbelievable 102 wickets across the league phase. Statistically speaking, Gujarat is just the most complete side out there.
But hey, absolutely do not count the defending champs out just yet, because while Gujarat definitely has the bowling edge, RCB holds a massive, potentially tournament-defining advantage when it comes to late-game execution. They boast the absolute best death over batting in the entire tournament, scoring a staggering 11.38 runs per over when the pressure is at its absolute highest. It's setting us up for an epic, stylistic clash, elite bowling versus unmatched finishing power. So what does this all mean? We're left with one ultimate question. The data clearly favors Gujarat, and history is notoriously ruthless to defending champions. But with a radically reinvented Kohli, a blue-collar pace attack, and remarkable systemic depth, RCB has completely rewritten their DNA. So will the algorithm hold true, or are we witnessing the birth of a modern IPL dynasty right before our eyes? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and enjoy the playoffs. Well,